were all actually on the track and cross country team. We were all jocks. We heard the Beatles for the first time. You know, the radio was always on. I'm painting my house, my mom's house. And all of a sudden I hear She Loves You. And I went, what was that? Then I saw a picture of the Beatles. I called up Dennis and John Spear and all these guys, and I went, this is the best thing ever. You know, I said, I don't want to work in the car wash, do you? No, let's start a band. We knew one guy, Glenn Buxton, played guitar, and I think he had a Fender Stratocaster, and it was the coolest sounding thing in the world. So, I mean, he was our guitar player immediately, because he was the only one that could play, you know, 10 chords. And it really just started like that. It just started at the Letterman's Club talent show. We all put Beatle wigs on, and we did a couple of Beatles songs that were just awful. Hired 10 girls to scream for us, and immediately got the bug. After track practice, we'd go home and eat and then go to band practice, which would be another 4 hours. And we would just grind, and everybody would get a little better every day. We were 16 years old, 17, and we opened for the Yardbirds in a club. And Jeff Beck had a Telecaster that looked like it was dragged behind a bus for about 1,000 miles. He was playing through a Vox Super Beetle amp, this Telecaster, and it filled the room. I don't know what he did to that guitar, but of course it is Jeff Beck, you know. But he made that Telecaster sound like 50 different guitars. And that's what made us immediately go, Fender is cool. I went to see the Electric Flag. They were like Paul Butterfield Blues Band. Probably one of the best bands you'll ever hear. Right before them was Blue Cheer. A wall of Marshall amps. I mean, literally a wall of them. I think they were only plugged into 3 of them, but it looked really impressive. They were supposed to be the loudest band in the world. And they were loud. When Mike Bloomfield came on, he had a folding chair with a twin reverb on it and a Telecaster. It was the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life. My hair was blowing back. He with that amp was louder than all of Blue Cheer. And so, you know, to us, the Fender Reverb, the tube amp, the old Fender twin reverbs were the coolest amps of all time. You know, as much as we were, you know, like journalism runners, we were also art majors. And so that kind of came into play. I looked at The Who, and they were unbelievable on stage. They destroyed their equipment, and the best drummer in the world, and the best stage guitar player, Pete Townsend. But I saw a big empty canvas back there. As an artist, I was looking at the stage going, how come nothing else is happening? I love the music, and when we, as a band, you have to be a great musical band. In other words, you have to have the cake before you can put the icing on it. So my idea was, let's put a lot of icing on our cake, but we first have to be a great band. So we worked and got those hit records. And then I said, now let's take it to, let's do something nobody's done. So we invented Alice to be basically the villain of rock. We had heroes all over the place. We had Peter Pans all over the place, but no Captain Hook. You know, and I said, Alice will be Captain Hook. And, you know, we added horror, comedy, drama, glam, glitter, makeup, snakes, guillotines, everything to the show. But still, it was still being driven by the music. It was still being we realized that we had to rehearse 9 hours a day musically in order to do the theatrical part. If you didn't have that music, that theatrics didn't happen. The first time you hear your record on the radio, the band was in a car on the way to a gig, and CKLW 18 comes on. And it was like we had to stop the car, because we never thought we'd ever hear one of our records, especially on CKLW. It was the biggest radio station in the Midwest. If you had a hit on CKLW, it was like having a hit. That meant you were covering 20 states. That was a huge deal. Your record going to #1 is an amazing moment. When Shep comes in and goes, by the way, guys, Billion Dollar Babies is #1. We all just kind of went, what? What did he say? And I think getting the announcement that you're in the Hall of Fame is another one. I won't deny that that's something that's really, you know, it puts this sort of little crown on your career. What it says is all the musicians out there agree that you contributed to the music scene. Those are just three, but there's a million other ones. You know, the first time you look in the audience and there's a Beatle watching your show, or a Rolling Stone, or a Who watching the show and going, yeah, you know, that's a very cool thing. Because it's not an ego thing at all. You always remember who your heroes are.